If your Excel file suddenly shows broken links after you moved a folder, you're not alone. The workbook is still fine, but Excel can't find the other files because the path changed. The good news is you can usually repair this in minutes without rebuilding formulas. First, think of links like a GPS address. If the address changes, the directions fail, even though the destination still exists. Excel stores that address in a few different places, and that's why fixing links can feel inconsistent. In this walkthrough, you'll learn a fast, reliable sequence. You'll confirm what's actually linked, update the path once, and force Excel to refresh what it's holding on to. You'll also learn how to prevent this next time with a simple folder strategy. By the end, you'll have a repeatable checklist you can use on any workbook, even messy ones with old references. Let's start by identifying exactly what broke and where Excel is remembering it. Next step. Before you fix anything, it helps to know what external references really are. In Excel, an external link is a formula that points to another workbook, often with a full file path. It can look like a normal cell reference, but it includes a file name and sometimes a folder chain. Links also show up in names, like defined names used by formulas, and in objects like charts or pivot tables. That's why you might fix one thing and still get a warning. Excel also caches link information, so it may keep asking about a file that no longer exists, even after you think you removed it. Another common confusion is the difference between a link and an import. If you used Power Query to load data, that's a connection, not a classic formula link. The repair steps can overlap, but the tools are different. So the goal of this step is simple. Figure out whether you're dealing with formula links, connections, or both, so you pick the fastest repair method. Next step. Now let's do the quickest diagnosis. When you open the workbook, Excel may ask to update links. If you click Update and it fails, that's a strong hint the path is wrong, not the formula. Next, check the workbook's link list. Excel keeps a central list of known external workbooks, and it's the fastest place to repoint a moved file. If the link list is empty but you still get prompts, that usually means the link is hidden in a name, an object, or a connection. Also pay attention to whether the broken link is to a workbook that still exists, just in a new folder, or whether it's truly gone. If it's gone, your decision is different. You either replace it with a new source, or you break the link to freeze values. One more tip. Make a quick copy of the workbook before you start. Link repairs are usually safe, but breaking links is not reversible. Next step. Here's the fastest fix when the source file still exists. Use Excel's built-in Edit Links tool. The key idea is you don't need to edit every formula. You update the source once, and Excel rewrites the stored path for all formulas that use that source. In the link list, select the broken source workbook, then choose to change the source. Point it to the moved file in its new location. After that, run an update to confirm Excel can read it. If you have multiple sources, do them one at a time. That keeps it clear which change fixed which warning. If the source file was renamed, this method still works, as long as you select the correct new file. One caution: if the source workbook is open in another instance, Excel can behave oddly and keep the old path. Close everything, reopen, then repeat the change source step. For most people, this single tool resolves 80% of broken link cases. Next step. Sometimes you change the source, but Excel still prompts you, or some formulas still show the old path. That's usually because not all links are in the link list. The most common hiding place is defined names. A defined name can contain a formula, and that formula can include an external path. If a workbook was built by someone else, names are often used for ranges, lookup tables, or dynamic formulas. So your next step is to audit names. Look for names that reference another workbook, especially ones that include square brackets, which often indicate an external file name. If you find one, you can edit the name's formula to the new path, or replace it with a local range if that's appropriate. Be careful with names used across many sheets. Changing a name can have wide impact, so do it deliberately. Once names are corrected, a lot of mystery link prompts disappear immediately. Next step. Another place links hide is inside charts, shapes, and text boxes. A chart series can point to an external workbook, especially if the chart was copied from another file. The same can happen with a text box that displays a linked cell, if that cell reference is external. The annoying part is these links may not show up in the main link list, so you need a targeted sweep. Start with charts, because they're common culprits. If you find a chart that's linked externally, you can repoint the series to a local range, or rebuild the series reference to the correct workbook. For shapes and text boxes, check whether they reference a cell. If the reference cell is external, update it. If you don't need the linkage, convert it to a static value. This step sounds tedious, but it's usually quick because only a few objects are linked. Next step. Now let's talk about Power Query and connections, because they break differently. If your workbook loads data from another file, a folder move changes the connection path. Excel might still open fine, but refresh fails. The fix is to update the connection settings, not the formulas. In Power Query, the source step often contains the file path. Update that step to the new location, then refresh. If you're using an older connection type, you may need to edit the connection properties and change the file. The key clue is this. If the error appears when you refresh data, it's likely a connection issue. If the error appears when you open the workbook or calculate, it's more likely a formula link. It's also possible to have both. So after you repair classic links, always do one refresh cycle. That confirms your data pipeline is healthy, and it prevents a future failure when someone clicks refresh all. Next step. If Excel still can't find the source, you need a smarter approach. Decide whether you want to keep the link at all. If the external workbook is a stable source of truth, keep it and repoint it. But if the link was temporary, or the source is gone, breaking the link may be the cleanest option. Breaking links converts formulas that reference the external workbook into values. That stops prompts and stabilizes the file. The trade-off is you lose automatic updates, so do it only when you're sure you don't need live data. A safer middle ground is to replace external references with an internal table. Copy the needed range from the source workbook, paste values into a dedicated sheet, and point formulas there. That keeps the workbook self-contained while preserving transparency. The main idea is to choose intentionally. Don't just fight prompts. Decide whether the workbook should be connected or portable. Next step. Let's cover a common scenario. You moved an entire folder of related files together, but links still broke. In many cases, Excel stores absolute paths, like a full drive and folder chain. If that chain changes, the link breaks, even if the relative structure stayed the same. One workaround is to keep a consistent top-level folder name and move the whole folder without renaming it. Another approach is to use a trusted network location or a mapped drive that stays consistent for everyone. If one person uses a C drive path and another uses a network path, links can fail depending on who opens the file. If you're in a team, agree on one canonical location. Also watch out for cloud sync folders that create slightly different paths per user. The core principle is consistency. Excel links are fragile when the address differs across machines. When you standardize the address, the repairs become rare, and when they happen, they're predictable. Next step. Here's a fast method to hunt down stubborn external references when you can't find them. Use a focused search for bracket characters and file extensions inside formulas. External references often include square brackets around the workbook name, and they may include .xlsx, .xlsm, or .xls. Search within formulas, not values. When you find a hit, you can decide whether to update it, replace it, or remove it. Another tactic is to check conditional formatting rules. Those rules can contain formulas, and they can reference other workbooks. Data validation can also reference external ranges. These are easy to forget because they don't look like normal formulas in cells. So if your link list is clean but prompts persist, check these formula-like features. The goal is not to inspect everything randomly. It's to target the few Excel features that can store formulas outside the grid. Next step. After you've repointed links, you want to confirm Excel truly updated the workbook, and not just for the current session. First, save the file, close it completely, then reopen it. If Excel prompts again, the link is still stored somewhere. Next, run a full recalculation. Some workbooks don't refresh every formula immediately, especially if calculation was set to manual. Also, check whether the workbook opens with Don't Update Link settings. If someone disabled updates, the file may look fine, but still contain broken references that will fail later. Another practical check is to open the source workbook first, then open the dependent workbook. If the prompt disappears in that order, it suggests Excel can resolve the link when the source is already loaded, but the stored path may still be imperfect. Your goal is a clean open, no prompts, and stable recalculation. That's the signal that the repair is real, not temporary. Next step. Now let's prevent this from happening again with a simple setup. The most reliable habit is to keep linked workbooks in one project folder, with a stable folder name. If you need to move it, move the entire folder as a unit. Avoid scattering source files across desktops, downloads, and email attachments. If you share files, consider using a shared location with a consistent path for everyone, and document it. Also, name your files like they're part of a system. Small name changes can break links just as easily as folder moves. If you must rename, do it once, then immediately update links and save. Finally, reduce links where they don't add value. If a workbook is meant to be sent to someone, it often shouldn't depend on external sources. Build a distribution version that contains values or an internal data table. Prevention is mostly about clarity, one folder, stable names, and intentional linking. Next step. Let's wrap this into a quick, repeatable workflow you can use every time. Step 1. Confirm whether the source file still exists. Step 2. Use edit links and change source for the fastest global repair. Step 3. If prompts remain, audit defined names, then charts and objects. Step 4. Check connections and Power Query if refresh fails. Step 5. Hunt leftovers and conditional formatting and data validation. Then do the verification step. Save, close, reopen, and recalc. If you want to be extra safe, keep a versioned backup before breaking links. That way you can roll back if someone later realizes they needed live updates. If you follow this order, you avoid the two biggest time wasters. One is editing hundreds of formulas manually. The other is chasing random features without a plan. Use the checklist and broken links become a small maintenance task, not a crisis. If you want, share your situation in the comments. Do your links break more from folder moves or from renamed files? And if this checklist helped, subscribe for more Excel fixes that save real time. Subscribe to keep optimizing your workflow and get back more of your time.